Hi friends, welcome back. It is time for another Once Upon a Book Club unboxing. By the time this is going up, it's probably not Christmas anymore, so I'm sorry for Santa in the corner and the weird Christmas glasses on my skull. I hope you had an amazing time and that you got to spend it with the people you love. Today's video is also about something we love, and that is books and unboxings, because I have got the adult Once Upon a Book Club for You themed Doppelgänger. And this was a very interesting book with some great gifts. I'm excited to share my thoughts with you guys. If you want to hear them, then definitely keep on watching, and while you're at it, click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you never miss another video of me again. Let's get unboxing. You guys know the drill by now. I have read the book, opened the gifts, put everything back so I can share the same exact experience, but it's always different when you see it on camera instead of getting it yourself. So in case you want to try Once Upon a Book Club, I have a discount code for you, Leanda Books 10, to get 10% off. I will leave the link to them in my description. Another link that you'll find in there is the link to my Patreon, which is an amazing platform where I get to create my own little community with friends, fellow bookworms, fellow Harry Potter lovers, fantasy fans. So if you feel like that is something for you, definitely check it out because my patrons are amazing. So that's a link you will also find in the description, or just head over to patreon.com and type in my name. Let's take our first look into this box. On top we've got the book club kit, the book In Another Light by A.G. Banner, and 4 gifts. Once Upon a Book Club is killing it with their packaging, and it makes it so much more fun to unbox these items. But before we get to those gifts, I'm first going to talk about the book. It is another paperback edition. We've got a beautiful cover with a starry sky and a yellow hummingbird, and the book came with an autograph from the author. In this story, we follow the perspective of Phoebe Glassman, who is our main character, and she is a, let me get this right, she is a mortuary cosmetologist, which basically means she restores dead people. So for example, if someone had an accident and the family wants an open casket to say goodbye, she will use clay or prosthetics or other stuff to restructure their face or their body. It's also described that she will use cotton inside someone's cheeks to make them look more alive. I mean, it's not the most fun to read about, but it is what happens, and I'm glad there are people that do that job, because it is really important. And 3 years ago, Phoebe lost her husband in a tragic accident. Then one day, the body of Pauline Steele arrives at the mortuary, and everything changes because Pauline is unmistakably the mirror image of Phoebe. And even more shocking, when Phoebe goes through Pauline's stuff, she finds a faded photograph of herself. So Phoebe decides to investigate her doppelganger's life and death and uncovers surprising clues to a shared past. The biggest tip I can give you guys before reading this book is do not approach it as a mystery thriller. I think it is more a psychological drama. I think it's more about mental illness, about trauma, about reconnecting with yourself after having lost someone, because that's at the core of this book, if you ask me. And I've read very mixed reviews. If people go into this book thinking it's a mystery, it's a detective, it's a thriller, they will be let down, because the focus is more on working through grief, dealing with loss. So I feel like if you approach it from that direction, you will like this book. And luckily that's what I did. I thought it was a really interesting point of view. I've never read a story in which the main character is a mortuary cosmetologist. I found it very interesting to see her going through these different stages of grief. At one point, I didn't know what was real and what was not. So that's where the mystery part comes in. But there were also some things that I didn't like about this book. The mother of the main character, Phoebe, has Alzheimer's disease, and it's not not depicted accurately. As a neuropsychologist, I know what the last stages of Alzheimer's disease look like, and I think the author mentions that she is at the beginning of this disease. It just didn't really add up with the symptoms that you would have in that stage. It felt a little bit inconsistent, like the author wanted to exaggerate the fact that this mother doesn't recognize her daughter anymore, but that's really like the last stage in Alzheimer's disease. I mean, there are always exceptions, but it just felt a little bit off. And same goes for the trauma part and the losing touch with reality, the stalker behavior, as I might call it. I rarely come across someone that is heavily traumatized that would go out of their way to stalk other people. I mean, I get why the author wrote it that way, but I do feel like if you want to represent mental illness, you should do your research. And I'm not entirely sure if she did that, or if she just thought, oh, that would be cool for the plot. If she's heavily traumatized and is also a stalker and is also losing touch with reality, but can also just go to work and do her thing. Then there's also the fact that it's quite a heavy book, but then the ending is happy. Yay, everything worked out. Even though some really big boundaries were crossed, like really crossed. It is those little things that did not make this book great, but I still thought it was good. The story is innovative, the execution could have been a little bit better, and that's how I ended up with 3 stars. And let me just say this, I did really like A.G. Banner's writing style, and it makes me curious about her other books. Now let's move on to the gifts. The first post-it that we come across is on page 27. In this part, Phoebe is going through Pauline's stuff. So Pauline's the dead doppelganger. She finds a wallet with a driver's license listing an address in Oregon, takes a picture with her phone. Pauline weighed 120 pounds, 10 pounds more than Phoebe. Eyes hazel, hair brown, height 5 feet 6 inches, 2 inches taller than Phoebe. No credit cards, but there's a roll of tablets, a red-coated pill, a penny, numerous business cards, and pocket photos in Pauline's wallets. It takes some time for Phoebe to look through all of them. Stuck to the back of a business card is a faded photograph, creased and ripped on one side. It's only half a color picture. At first he doesn't quite comprehend what she is seeing. The hair, the smile, the clothing. She recognizes the shirt, the background crowd at Pike Place Market in downtown Seattle. Her hands tremble, a cloud passing through the room. Invisible, cold fingers press on her throat. It can't be true, but it is. In Pauline Steele's purse, Phoebe has found a photograph of herself. Do you feel the suspense? The corresponding gift comes in this black box with a woman on it that is looking into a mirror. And inside this box, there is a wallet. It has little hearts all over it. 3 different colors. And a gold zipper. And what's fun about this gift is that when you open the wallet, there's an Oregon driver license inside that says Pauline Steele. And then over here, there's a little piece of paper that I believe represents the faded photograph. And then at the back, it says, Once Upon a Book Club, professional book nerd. I'm gonna be honest, it's not the best, but that is to be expected from a book box. For example, you can see some loose stitches here and some more here in the upper corner. The print on the front is a little bit faded, but I mean, I can definitely use this for day trips. I do like the colors and the design, and it's always nice to get practical items. The next post-it can be found on page 118. In this part, Phoebe is trying to find out more about Pauline, and she ends up at this house. She thinks it's important to snoop around, and there's a garage sale going on, and she asked to use the bathroom. And Mel is this kid that's walking around there. The side door squeaks and it sticks halfway when Phoebe tries to pull it closed. She has to yank extra hard. The air in the kitchen seems to draw into itself. Now she's on the inside looking toward the window, imagining herself crouched out there where she was last night, outside, looking in. There's one origami frog on the kitchen counter, a simple crane on a side table. Phoebe's throat goes dry. She glances out the side window, glimpses the garage sill at an angle through the trees. She ventures into the hall. The kitchen door slams behind her. Mel waltzes up next to her, disturbing the air. "I can go pee by myself," she says, sticking out her bottom lip and glaring at Phoebe as she whirs past. When Phoebe was 5 years old, she did that. Stuck out her lip in exactly that way. She has a photograph to prove it. I love the presentation of this next gift. This looks like it came out of that kitchen. I am so gonna hang on to this. It's like a tin can with a lid that looks like it's wood, but it's also tin. Let's open it up. I just had a little sneak peek because I didn't want to ruin the ribbon. But if I remember correctly, this is origami. Yes, it is. There is different colors of paper, and on top it says how to fold a frog. That's actually really fun. The next post-its. This next part is Phoebe meeting up with Xia, who was a friend of Pauline, and they both have their theories about Phoebe's late husband. So how did he die? Supposedly. Car crash, Phoebe says in a clipped voice. Like a big fiery wreck? Did you see the body? I saw pictures, Phoebe says distantly. He was difficult to recognize. The car went off a cliff. It wasn't exactly a big fiery accident. Anything like this accident? Xia unzips her backpack and whips open a file folder. She slides an article printed from the internet across the table. Maine, 9 years ago. This guy disappears at sea, out sailing with his wife, leaves her behind to mourn. Phoebe stares at the article, uncomprehending. What does this have to do with my husband? Read it, Xia says, pointing at the article. Go on. Phoebe reads, a curious ringing in her ears. You're saying this is your husband. Dum dum dum. This is the gift that goes with it, page 141, and inside is another really original gift, if you ask me. This is an unsolved case file. Unsolved case files is a game that lets you solve a fictional crime using the evidence and documentation from the original case file. Your objective: prove who killed Catherine Fox. When you think you know who killed Catherine Fox and can prove it, visit this webpage to verify your solution. And it comes with this article. It is mentioned that this is a mini version and that for full cases, you can visit unsolvedcasefiles.com. I was so excited when I opened this gift. It fits the story so well. It's unique, it's original, and I cannot wait to try it. Then for the final gift, this is a scene between Phoebe and Mel. Phoebe believes that Mel is someone significant to her and is basically trespassing so she can talk to this kid. I have princess hair, Mel says, and when she smiles, there's a small gap between two front teeth. Did the tooth fairy come? Phoebe asks. You lost a baby tooth. My dad helped me pull it out, Mel says, her tongue pushing through her teeth. My dad used to help me too, Phoebe says. I got scared when he tied my tooth to the doorknob and then shut the door. Sometimes it hurt. Mine didn't hurt. Well, that is lucky, Phoebe says. You have a good dad. He's the best daddy in the world. Mel spreads her arms, then claps her hands. Phoebe takes off the backpack, pulls out a blue hairbrush. This was yours. Do you remember? She's lying. The hairbrush is new, unused. I used to brush your hair. I brushed my own hair. Right, you're a big girl now, Phoebe says. But may I? Mel nods, pouting a little. Okay. And this is the final gift, and I think there's hair on this box. I didn't even notice that before. Look at that pattern. Doesn't that look a little bit like hair? Inside this box is not a blue hairbrush because that was kind of what I was expecting, but a green one. I kind of was expecting a blue one because it's all about enhancing the reading experience and making the story come alive. So I thought it was a little bit weird that they went with green, but I do really like this color. It reminds me of Christmas trees. There's nothing on the brush. It's just a normal hairbrush. I'm personally not a fan of these kind of brushes, but I know that my partner will really appreciate a new hairbrush. So this will definitely be used. And as I said, I like the color. It smells a bit weird though. Like it came straight out of a factory, that kind of smell. Next to the gifts, we also got the quote card. She could shut out the world, but at other times she became restless. And at the back, the letter from the author. Just pause the screen if you want to read it. The bookmark, and of course the book club kit. Inside is a conversation with the author, discussion questions, and read along dates. And at the back is, I didn't even look at this myself, in another light, word search. Oh, that's fun. There are these words beneath it. You have to search them in here. Overall thoughts, this was another strong box in my opinion. They paid a lot of attention to details. I love the packaging. It just all came together. The gifts, the book. There's not one gift that really stands out for me. If I have to choose a favorite gift, I'm gonna go with the unsolved case file. And definitely let me know your thoughts. So did you have a favorite or least favorite item in this box? Did you read this book? What did you think? Leave it in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and let's stay in touch.